let's begin there, guys. Brian here at 3TR, and as I'm sure you can see, I am not at my house at the current moment, because today is August 31st, and that means that tomorrow marks the release of the final installment, at least for me, of the Metal Gear Solid franchise, Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. Now, this game has been getting glowing reviews across the board, with only really one website, in my opinion, kind of giving the most honest review that I would say that I'm kind of going off of. And before I actually start playing the Phantom Pain tomorrow, I just kind of want to share my initial thoughts going into it, and like kind of the rating I think I'm going to give this game. Hopefully when I'm done with it, probably, maybe I'll get it to beat in like a day or two at the most. So, first off, am I pumped for the Phantom Pain? Absolutely. It looks like an incredible game. It looks by far Metal Gear Solid's biggest in the entire franchise, and I think it's going to be a really big way for the franchise to go out. And seeing how this is going to be Hideo Kojima's last game with the franchise, I'm happy that this day has come too, because I don't really think you can really have a true Metal Gear Solid game without Hideo Kojima, and now that he's gone, and hopefully he'll go on to other projects, he can put his creative genius to other properties, and I can't wait to see him do that. So, going into this game, I think it will be a great game. I don't think it will be my personal favorite. I already know from everything I've seen, I know for a fact, I am not going to like this game anywhere near as much as 3. As crazy as I may say this, I don't think I'll like it as much as 4 either. My reasoning behind this is that it's the placement of this game that kind of bothers me. It's the point where we all know, if you know your Metal Gear Solid well enough, you kind of know how the story has to play out. I'm hoping this game ends a certain way, and if it doesn't, that will be a significant problem for me as well. One of my biggest concerns, and if you have played the game, you know, don't spoil anything in the comments for me. One of my biggest concerns is that this game is so big it lacks variation. As far as I know, we have 2 missions, which one takes place like in Africa, and then one takes place in Iraq, and I think one takes place in like a jungle area somewhere, and then you have a mother base. And these maps are massive, don't get me wrong. I just feel they might be too big, and it's just a lot of empty space. I'm curious of how the game utilizes its vastness. I mean, I understand that, you know, making kind of open world allows you to approach a situation any way you want. The question is that all it is? Is that all these missions are? Or are we just going to have to keep going back to the same locations, doing different things, but having it different ways, but it's the same map? At least with the older Metal Gear Solid games, as you went through every single, even though these were small levels, they were all different. And what my biggest fear is that all this is a really big map. It's maybe 1 or 2 little bases, and in every mission you just have to go to them and do something different. If that's all it really is, I think that's going to be somewhat disappointing. Another thing that I'm a little bit on the fence about is just the fact that, in terms of story, I just think that going to the point where Big Boss supposedly goes bad, I think it's just one of those revelations that I already know it's coming. It's how they are going to present it, or how we get to that point. I heard in its development, I heard several, like maybe a year ago, that the way that this story was going to work was there's going to be certain points that have you make choices. And I'm a little bit curious about how those choices are going to play out, because Metal Gear Solid has always had a set story that doesn't really have the player's influence direct a storyline. And although this does make the game much more, you know, involving, I just feel that maybe some decisions that I make don't fit the lore that's already been set for this franchise, and so we have a lot of questions that I may ask that aren't answered. And I think that the one thing that Metal Gear Solid 4 did right, and I think will do better than this one, is it will do a much better job of, if it asks a question, it will answer it in the same game, or it will answer questions that other games have asked before that weren't answered in their games. And I think this is a really just bad game for people to try to jump on. I mean, I know that this is a very popular game, and this might bring in some new people, but if you have not been playing the franchise up to this point, then this is not the game to be playing to help fill you in, because it literally takes place in the center of the entire Metal Gear Solid saga story. So this is a really bad point to jump on. So if you have not played any of the other Metal Gear Solid games, I would recommend you play them first so you understand the kind of the dynamic of the story itself. That way Phantom Pain will make more sense so that when they maybe talk about something, you'll understand the reference. And I think that for a lot of gamers that choose to play Metal Gear Solid for the first time with this one, I think that might hurt their enjoyment of it. But overall, I'm pumped up for this game. I think it'll pretty much do the exact opposite that Metal Gear Solid 4 did, in which the Metal Gear Solid 4 game had a lot of cutscenes, which I personally don't complain about. I mean, some people said that 4 had it was just like too many cutscenes and not enough gameplay. I think that Phantom Pain will do the exact opposite, and that's a good thing in my opinion. Even though I really love 4, I just think that in terms of its what am I looking for? In terms of the variety, I think that's what's going to be lacking. It's just going to be one map, same place, doing a different mission and having to come back and forth to monitor Mother Base and all these other things that I think will overall hurt the overall experience for me personally. I may be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping I love this game to its fullness, but if I had to give Phantom Pain a rating just going into it as like a preview rating, I would give it, at this point, from everything I've seen and heard, and just in terms of gameplay, I would give Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain an 8.5 out of 10, which is still a great score. I would be happy if I went into this game with that mentality and I walked out with the same mentality. I would still think this is definitely one of the much better Metal Gear Solid games in the franchise by far. But let me know, what are your guys' thoughts about this game? Is this going to be your first time playing the franchise, or are you planning on playing any other installments after this, or are there some concerns or fears that you have for the game? Share your thoughts with me in the comments down below, and if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me in my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.